You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you for joining me here today on this second Cabral House Call of the weekend. We had such a great show yesterday. Really enjoyed answering your questions, as always. Some amazing ones came in. All things health, fitness, wellness, weight loss, anti-aging. And of course, I'm happy to take questions from health practitioners as well about your practice, about how you can better serve people as well. Please let me know. Anything that I'm able to, anything I have experience with, I'm happy to do that for you. And again, if I don't have a background in it, if I don't know the answer to it, what I'm going to do is refer you to either the person, the book, the video, the certification, whatever it might be. So again, feel free to ask away. I'm always happy to help. It takes just about, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks for me to get to your questions. So without further ado, I want to make sure we get to some great questions today. And picking right where we left off. So Cristi is up next. Cristi is asking, Dear Dr. Cabral, I'm a fairly new listener to your program, and I've been slowly catching up with all of your past episodes. They are both fascinating and helpful. I'm in my early 40s. I live a healthy, busy, 2 kids, full-time job, active lifestyle. I do yoga, weight training, interval training, stretching, foam rolling, anti-inflammatory diet, similar to what you recommend. My BMI is optimal. Recently, I have been able to feel a tendon or something, maybe my T-band, snap over the bone to my hip. At first, I thought it was happening only as I walked up stairs or up a hill. But now I feel it when I walk as well. From what I researched, this seems to be snapping hip syndrome. It doesn't hurt, but I do want to know where the point begins. Okay, so she just says that she's been to chiropractors, PTs. They wanted a written diagnosis. The medical doctor wouldn't see me. So I basically can't figure out what's going on. All right, Cristi, I have seen this a couple times before, and it's hilarious. I always make fun of these things, always in good fun, of course. Even when I was a little harsh on my last Friday review about a cookbook that someone created. It is all it's not in jest. No, it's not in jest, but it is all in good fun. I know that we're all on this journey together about trying to get ourselves well and really just optimize our overall health and wellness. But whenever I see syndrome, I just start to laugh. I'm like, okay, here we go. So it's another scientist, researcher, PhD, someone who doesn't know the root cause, which again, I'm not poking fun at that, but I am a little bit, because when you say syndrome, it's like, okay, let's give it a name. Let's give it a syndrome. So what's happening? Well, the hip is snapping. So let's call it snapping hip syndrome. That sounds great. So we'll do that. So yes, that's what they did. It means nothing, right? But like you just said, okay, it could be the tendon. It could be one of the tendons with the IT band. It could also be one of the tendons as well as the actual TFL muscle itself. So the TFL is one of those hip flexors that very few people talk about. I mean, almost nobody talks about the TFL. Everybody talks about the psoas, the iliopsoas, and it gets a lot of great press, which it should, right? Because anything that connects towards the lower back but actually, starts in the front of your hip is an interesting muscle, and it causes a lot of lower back issues, and it causes a lot of, issues in general with people's posture and pain. So I understand why that gets more of the press, but we can look into this muscle, the TFL, tensor fasciae latae, I believe it's pronounced. And that is something that I would work on. So believe it or not, one of the companies I used to work for, and I was just their kind of resident fitness guy, and I would do videos for them. And one of their fitness models would come in, and we were doing leg lifts. And all you heard was this snapping over and over when she would do a knee pull in or a leg lift, or even sometimes step ups. So she said, and I said, did you know that you have basically misalignment in the hips? Because that's what it is. And she said, no. She's like, I've always had this pain, not pain, but it's just kind of dull and it's snapping. I said, well, this can be corrected if you're interested by doing some IT band stretches, TFL stretches, and psoas stretches, as well as focusing more on the hamstring and glute development, because she was a big runner and she did a lot of biking. So when you look at that, running is a quad dominant based activity. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little long with this question, but essentially when you run, a lot of people with not the best form, they end up breaking. So they kind of land with the heel, and it breaks quite a bit, meaning breaking means slowing their acceleration, and it's putting a lot of stress on the quad. So that starts to create tightness inside the quad. It creates a little bit of that's called vertical displacement, leaning forward from the upper body. That's the same thing in biking. We get tightness in the hip flexors. We get tightness and shortening in the TFL. So what I want you to do is look up TFL stretching, psoas stretching, and then what I want you to do is also focus on strengthening your hamstrings and glutes. So I want you to do less squats and Olympic deadlifts for now and do more Romanian deadlifts, more Bulgarian split squats or split lunges, however you want to call them. And I want you to do more split lunges, or I want you to do more walking lunges, backwards lunges to help open up your psoas muscles and TFL as well, while keeping your upper body up nice and straight. Don't lean forward. So I want you to focus on those. Keep foam rolling your TFL, a little bit in your iliopsoas, even though it's hard to get at, and then also your IT band. So keep working on that. Keep working your alignment. Go easier on your biking. Go easier on your running. Do your kettlebell swings, and you're going to start to get that back corrected, okay? So Amber is up next. Amber's asking, I'm on several different medications. I've had 3 failed back surgeries. I have a fusion in my lower back. I'm in pain every day, even with the medications I'm taking. Also severe anxiety, panic attacks, and nerve pain down my left leg. So this is quite a long question, but I just want you to know that, Amber, I did read it before I am answering this question. So I always want you to know that I read your question. For everyone else, just go to stevencabral.com/podcast. Click on today's podcast link, and you'll see all of the show notes. Of course, I link up to all the products, all the research, and I list everyone's question in full. Okay, so she says she's on a bunch of different medications, that she is looking into taking CBD oil. It helps with her sleep, and it sometimes helps with her anxiety. She's been to a pain management doctor, wants to start medical marijuana. Over 250 nights in hospital since January 2015. Okay, so Amber, obviously you're suffering, not something I like to see. That this obviously is not something we want to continue. So what am I going to recommend just for symptomatic relief? Okay, so I want you just to try, because it's pretty benign in the first place, meaning that there shouldn't be too many side effects, is really try to increase your intake of magnesium. So I would use our full spectrum magnesium. I would use 2 caps at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would use the whole Best Rest formula, to be honest with you, right before bed, and I would up your CBD oil intake. You are going to get the same exact pain benefits from using marijuana that you would with CBD. So I would really recommend that, meaning that I would go up to a minimum of 50 milligrams, and you could use it during the day, and you can use it at night of the CBD oil. So magnesium first, much larger dosages to kind of calm the sympathetic nervous system. And then I would use the CBD oil at much higher dosages. Anything else, for my more specific recommendations, I would love to see an organic acids test. Do you have leaky gut? Is that why you have chronic inflammation? Because, literally, you have chronic inflammation. So we don't know what it's from, though. I don't know if there's bone impingement. I don't know if there's nerve impingement causing this. I don't know if when they fuse something that it fused incorrectly. There's a lot to look at. I don't know if you have heavy metals. If you have heavy metals, it can be causing this. Or I don't know if there's something, in life, meaning like psychologically too, that's also adding to your stress barrel that's causing this type of pain on your nervous system. There's so much that could be going on. I'd love to put a copy of my new book in your hands, and soon enough you'll get that. I promise that I'll get you that. But one big thing is I do want you to, if possible, run an organic acids test, hair tissue mineral analysis, because please let us help you correct the things that we know that we can help you correct. And then along the way, we'll try to figure this out together. So that's my best answer I can give you for right now. And I do hope that helps, Amber. Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a 34-year-old female who's 5'4.5", weighing 120. I've been lifting heavy weights and lower body weight training. I also take a gentle yoga class on Wednesdays. My cardio has been inconsistent, 30 minutes here and there. On a Stairmaster, an occasional hour-long step class once a week. I've been on a completely vegan diet for a year, minimal amounts of soy and gluten, although I'm small in stature, size 0. I feel like I'm too soft for the amount of heavy lifting I'm doing. And let's see what else that she says. Any recommendations on how I should change my weight or cardio routine? Is it possible to get the right kind of bodybuilding protein on lentils, beans, and vegetables? Should I consider soy? I used to eat tons of chicken breast, egg whites, and Greek yogurt, and do notice that I don't have as much muscle definition, but I wasn't healthy either and had major digestive issues. I'm trying to find a balance, and I'm at a loss for what is the best diet for my health as well as my physique. Appreciate for what you do each and every day. My husband ordered me your Candida cleanse and 21-day detox, and I can't wait to begin. All right, Anonymous, I would love to help you with this answer. Okay, so here's the thing. You have to decide, do you want to go completely vegan? And if you do, well, then we can help you with that for sure. Meaning that you can have your lentils, your chickpeas, and your hummus, and your hemp hearts, and all the great vegan-based proteins for sure. I'll just let you know, again, this is clinical perspective. Please don't get mad at me because this is just based on what I see in practice. 250,000 plus client sessions. You're able to build muscle easier with fish, eggs, or animal-based protein, or even dairy, even though I don't recommend dairy. But that doesn't mean you have to eat it. So even with my own body, so it's hard for me to build real muscle without any type of fish or eggs or animal protein. And when I eat it, it's like my body is just totally different. My arms get bigger, my chest, like everything gets bigger. And that's just because it's more anabolic. They've known that for thousands of years, Ayurvedic times. Even when the Vata body type was so depleted, they used to give them the juice from animal-based protein because their digestive system was too weak to break down the animal-based protein, but they could drink, and it's going to sound kind of graphic, but the blood of the animal, and that would help to build back up their body. I'm not saying you have to do that. If you're adamantly vegan, that I completely understand. I empathize with you. I believe in what you're doing, and I want to help support you. So you could use, though, something like our daily nutritional support powder, which you should be doing, because we want to make sure your micros are taken care of. All of your amino acids, yes. But your proteins, your fats, your carbs, your micros being your antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, all those great things. Okay, so take care of that. You can use hemp protein as well, in addition to that, if you want to. Because remember, you can easily get 60 grams of protein just with vegan-based protein. And again, I eat predominantly completely vegan until dinner, and then sometimes I have animal protein, or sometimes I have fish, or sometimes I have eggs. It just depends. And it's just once a day. That's what works great for me. It's the compromise that I've had to make in order to keep my body healthy and happy and strong and not moody and all of those things. But you have a different philosophy, and what works for you works for you. I'm good with that. Now, we also want to make sure that you're not overtraining as well. So I'd love to make sure that you are doing 3 good weight workouts per week. I would make them full body. You can use my book called A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength. It's for women too. It's just the publisher called it A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength. Then I would do 2 cardio sessions per week. That'll be great. You'll be doing great with that. You can do your intervals if you want. That'll work great. What else? So all of this is part of my welcome package that's free when you go to stevencabral.com. You can check that out. My ideal workout week is right in there with yoga, with stretching, all that great stuff. Follow the anti-inflammatory nutrition plan. Yeah, all that's great. So here's what I would do. You already have everything you need. So I would do the 21-day Dr. Ball Detox. You're going to lean out a little bit with that. That's what it helps. It really decreases inflammation. You can still keep your weight training up. You won't just do as hard a weight training on the 2 shake fast days, but that's okay. And then see how you do with that. And then really those full body workouts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, every other day would be fantastic. You can do your intervals, your regular cardio. I think you're going to be good to go. I really do. And then again, that book is called A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength. You can find it on my website. You can find it on Amazon. I make about $1 book, so thank you in advance for that. All right, so who is up next? Teresa's up next. Hello, I would like to know if you have ever treated a child diagnosed with PANDAS or tics. We have seen tics go away with Clostridia treatment, but it rises again. Thanks. Okay, so yes, Teresa, for many years now, I don't really talk about it too much, but probably about, I would say 20% of my practice is children. And I love working with kids, food sensitivity, psoriasis, bacterial-based issues, gut issues, autism, Lyme. I mean, you name it. Anything, obviously, a child can suffer from. So here's what we do is we run an organic acids test, a stool test, a food sensitivity test, and a hair tissue mineral analysis. If you want the best of the best, those are the 4 that I recommend running. If you can only do 2, run an organic acids test and a stool test. If you can do 3, add the hair tissue mineral analysis. And if you can do 4, add the food sensitivity test. So quite often, this is what we do. One of the reasons why I do agree that you want to work on Clostridia, but you want to work on all bacteria. So it's hard to just pinpoint just Clostridia, meaning like there isn't an herb just that pinpoints Clostridia. It also helps with, E. coli, and it helps with a lot of other bacterial overgrowth as well. So what you have to do, and kind of where you left off, is you want to use a great protocol like our children's Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, but then you also want to seal the gut, and then you also want to repopulate with good bacteria. So that is the whole protocol. That's how we do it. And then also understanding that some children will be sensitive still the next couple months, and that you just can't feed them a lot of foods that are going to exacerbate the condition, such as anything higher in fructose, such as dairy, such as gluten, such as anything with food dyes, anything higher in sugar in general, any of those things that can cause issues. I would even say sometimes eggs for kids as well can really give a little uptick, but that's much, much less than more of the higher fructan-based foods, dairy, gluten. Yeah, those are the main ones. So check that out. Organic acids test, stool test, hair tissue mineral analysis, food test, you'll get my recommendations, and then you'll also get a call with one of my health coaches. All right, Judy's up next. Let's see what Judy's writing in. Hi, Dr. Ball. I have received your 21-day Dr. Ball Detox and your Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth Cleanse Protocol. Which do you recommend I complete first? I noticed that I can have berries in the shake on the Candida protocol, but not on the detox. So I'm assuming these protocols should be completed separately. I'm a 34-year-old female with hormonal acne issues dealing with hypothyroidism and likely adrenal cortisol issues based on what I've heard on your podcast. I look forward to completing these protocols and eventually taking your test to come up with a longer-term game plan to achieving health and happiness. Merry Christmas to you, your family, and staff. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you. And yeah, this is a great question. It's very straightforward. You're going to complete your 21-day Dr. Ball Detox first. That is literally the foundation, meaning that I really want every human in the world to complete that. If I could give that away for free, I would. If someone out there is independently wealthy and they would love to be able to donate this Dr. Ball Detox at substantially less to thousands of people, I would love to be able to work with you to see if we can do that. Maybe we can set up a foundation. People can apply who really can't afford it. I would love to be able to do that. So I'm always open to all of these things. Remember, my goal is to get you the content first, to teach you what you need to take back control of your health, and then try to give you the best products available. And I've always said they don't have to be mine. And then preferably they're not mine, meaning that I would love someone else to take over all the fulfillment, all of these types of things. But I do love it. I really do. Like, I might joke around about it, but I love my work. I love what I do. I love formulating the best products in the world. I love it all. And I love being able to share that with you. So exactly how to do it. 21-day Dr. Ball Detox first. That is going to make your Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth Cleanse protocol so much easier to follow because you're going to do your 21-day Dr. Ball Detox. Then you're going to have a cheat meal. Enjoy yourself. And then you're going to get on the Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth protocol. And you don't have to, you can then do one cheat meal per week. So it's great that you wrote in. That's exactly how you're going to do it. You're going to get amazing results. You're going to feel fantastic. And then you're going to follow it up with the gut rebuilding protocol. You're going to seal up your gut. I'm telling you, you're going to be feeling so good that you might not need to do too many lab tests after that. You might want to just look into the genetic testing for long-term health, run your annual blood work, of course, and then maybe test your hormones or so just to see where you're at. So that's what I recommend. Thank you for writing in with that question. And let's see, can we get to one more question? We can. Let's get to one more question. Mary's up next. Hello, Dr. Ball. Thank you for your passion and getting out your knowledge to the masses. I appreciate it. As you kickstarted my health to wellness, I recently got the results of a GI test. Showed up with a few different forms of bacteria. Essentially, what should I do now? Okay, so whenever someone sends me lab tests of what they found, I apologize, but I cannot give you specific recommendations based on labs if you are not a private wellness client of mine. It's not that I want you to make sure that everyone becomes a private wellness client of mine. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I don't have labs in front of me. I have to spend the time to look all over these things. I need to know your health history. I need to know all these things of what you're eating, meaning that I take my job very seriously, maybe too seriously, but I do. It's very intense work for me. I make it intense work, and that's because when I work with someone, or if you do a lab test through our online store, and you're talking with my health coach, I still read over all your labs. My health coaches and I, Caitlin and Julia, we sit down every week, twice a week actually, each one of us, and we go through every single lab that comes in. I take it very, very seriously, the recommendations I give, which means when you send over some, just some base numbers, it's not the whole lab. I don't get to review the whole thing. I don't get to see the whole person. You didn't do the whole intake that we have everyone do. So here's what I say though, but I will always give you recommendations, always. So if you found bacterial overgrowth on a stool-based test or on an organic acid test or some other lab, well, if you found bacterial overgrowth, if you found yeast overgrowth, you can complete our Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth protocol. So this means you don't need to run another lab through us. You don't have to, no problem at all. You can complete our Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth protocol, which is broad spectrum. We're going to wipe out the bacterial overgrowth. We're going to wipe out the yeast overgrowth. Then we're going to replenish and repopulate the gut with the healthy strains of bacteria, one at first, then a few, then add more after that. And then we're going to seal up the gut after we're done with that. So that's exactly what we do. So happy to help with that. One thing I would say as well is that's exactly what I would do. I don't think you need to run another lab with us. If you found bacterial overgrowth, complete the Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth protocol. After you're done with it, do the gut rebuilding protocol to seal it up. Do the daily nutritional support smoothie every morning, or pick a powder that you like. That would be totally fine. you're going to get great results. I think you're going to do great. So appreciate you writing in. Hopefully I was still able to give you a pretty good answer. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to today's Cabral House Call. I appreciate each and every one of your listens. Even more, I appreciate all of your shares. Thank you so much. Hope you had an amazing weekend, and stay tuned tomorrow for our Motivation and Mindset Monday.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.